Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. This one's kind of cool because we are going to do 3 topics. So many times, I read all the comments, by the way. There'll be complaints where people are like, oh, why does this one never win or this one? Today, you get them all. So we're going to look at partnerships, manifestation or goals, and then also anywhere in your life where you're trying to find confidence or reclaim power. I think these all work together quite nicely. So because I'm doing 3, I'm going to change up the way that I read it. So we'll kind of go in the flow, and in that moment, I'll either do 3 to 5 cards for each and maybe then look at some specific things that I'm guided to where you might be blocked or where there may be opportunities that are opening up. So it's always fun to change it up, and this is one of the many ways. Another thing I did this week, if you want to check it out, is a pick a card reading. I think I may also do another one this week, like for relationships. That's never out there, but this would be really good for that. So I'll start doing more of that. Like I said, read all the comments, always put those suggestions out there. They do affect sort of like what happens in the future. So anyway, good to see everybody. I hope your weekend was wonderful. We still have a day left, most of us. Let's pull Apollo in the background so he can say hello. He's just out of frame because he's sneaky. Hey, buddy. Everyone wants to see you. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Let's talk a little bit about the format for today. So actually, it's not the 2-month format. It's the Weekly Collective. So for the Weekly Collective, here's what we do. Normally, we will start off with channeled messages that'll remain the same. I'll look at a 7-day forecast and the elements. I think we'll do both of those as well. And then I'll kind of delve into the special topics in whatever sort of format feels best. This is live, as you can tell, and it's sort of like whatever needs to come through comes through. So let's talk about the channeled messages first. This morning in dreams, what I saw and heard, I heard it first. I was like, is that a cricket? And then as I focused on the energy, I think it's a katydid, or there's different names for it, but in the cricket family anyway. And for me, this is about listening, because one of the things that a cricket makes us do is tune in and using our kind of like common sense, like listening to our intuition to help us locate things. If you've ever had a cricket in your house, you know what I'm talking about, or maybe a katydid. They will drive you crazy until you find them. So it's kind of like the a big symbol of like an alarm in the as a totem. So it's saying there's something that you need to pay attention to. There's something that you should tune into. Now is the moment to do so. And as we look at the cards, I'll look for that kind of alarm bell moment or light bulb moment that is asking us, hey, listen, watch. And it's about finding your voice too, because of that too. Now, when it comes to communication, there is a general note with anything in that cricket family, which is less is more. What I just talked about is something that it can be grating, even though like a cricket in particular is good luck, and a katydid is like a very beneficial insect, doesn't really harm things that much. So they're very good, but they can also represent like a little bit goes a long way. So I think a good example of this would be like a Queen of Swords energy. Even a Queen of Swords reverse, she comes in, says what she needs to say, and she gets out. So I'll also kind of look for brevity and concise messaging when it comes to the using your voice or reclaiming your power energy towards the end, because I think that aligns nicely with that. Okay. So let's give Apollo a snack. He's chewing on his toy nervously in the background. And then I'm going to get into the 7-day forecast. So I'm going to grab him a couple little snacks first, and then we'll get started. Here, buddy. So if you could please take a moment and close your eyes. Let's let ourselves reset from holding anything that we might be bringing into this reading. I like to imagine a circle of light around my body and then dedicate that as a safe space. Welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right. Let's take this card by card. We're going to start off with the energy of today, this Sunday. We have quite a nice energy here, the Nine of Cups. We just got the Nine of Pentacles too recently, and I mentioned with that some of you have been working really hard. It's time to take care of yourself, splurge a little bit, and I feel like today that energy also comes through. So give yourself a moment and celebrate and connect with whatever it is that you've been trying to do. Just say, look, I've made some progress. I feel good about it. It's important to reward ourselves from time to time, not to just constantly push or judge or sometimes compare ourselves to others. Celebrate whatever you've done, even if it is just surviving. I'm not even putting a just, even if it is surviving, because there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I'm not impervious to that. What I try to do in this weekly collective is help us in a more tactical and practical way look at each day of the week. And that's what this is saying. Let's take something today and just say, I did it, I'm here. And if you can connect with others, one more to this would be the 10 of Cups. That could even incrementally sort of like help you experience more sort of like of a stress relief, more joy. What we do want to avoid is any sort of excess. So excess is not just in the joyful excess, like drinking too much, partying too much. It can be working too much, worrying too much, which is why I'm really sort of like encouraging you to find things in your life that provide that sense of relief and safety and solace. And all of that is comprised within this, okay? But have some fun today, however that might be, whatever that might entail, okay? I think that's the big takeaway. We're not going to overthink that. Let's look at the beginning of the week. So on Monday, we have the Emperor coming through. I kind of like this version of the Emperor because typically we would see him seated on his throne, very passive. But in this one, we have the green man representing the Emperor. And it's a much more like hands-on approach. If there's something that you want to do, Monday is a perfect day to roll up your sleeves and begin that sort of action and progress. There is a sense on this one, too, of ownership, which I think nicely ties into the reclamation of power and manifestation energy. So sometimes you're the absolute best person to bring it through. And if you don't believe in it, then I'm not going to believe in it, and nobody else is going to be able to sort of like connect with it. So there's also this sort of momentary wake-up call here that now is the time to really call something into being and own it and send it to the next level, okay? Monday is a great day to have a face-to-face conversation with someone and help like set priorities. This is also a good day for you to manage yourself. And if there's anything where you felt difficulty in the past, like being seen, being heard, I feel like things start to shift a little bit. So it's a good start to the week. Let's look at Tuesday. Now we have a bit of a challenge here coming through in the form of the 5 of Pentacles. I like that she is a survivor here. She's just starting to stoke the fire a little bit, trying to find her confidence, trying to get something moving. The 5 of Pentacles typically shows a wound from the past. It can be rejection. And it can go all the way back to childhood, or it could just be yesterday. It's symbolic of the inner child that gets wounded, so it's not always the deep past. What I see here is lightning, which is very cool because there could be this new connection, like something's lighting up within you. I don't always see lightning as a bad sort of omen here. It's sometimes like a connection to source and necessary change and movement. There is remnants of the tower here, but the tower is very much in the past for some of you. Like you're picking up the pieces. It feels like this is a great day to pick up the pieces and reassess and reimagine what can be. And it takes a little bit of time and practice to come out of your shell. So lean on that energy of endurance, continue to gently create some growth and movement, and know that you're going to get where you need to go in the long run. This is just the beginning of feeling better. And so if there's a little bit of PTSD, if there's a little bit of, healing that needs to be done in the heart, in the soul, by all means do that. But this is also a nudge from the universe that you can do it. It's the inverse of the typical 5 of Pentacles, which is you can't do it and you're not enough. It's saying give yourself time. Allow yourself to prove them wrong. And that is actually the best way to move past someone who's not nice to you or something that didn't work out. I remember when I was leaving a toxic work environment once, one of my coworkers who I quite liked working with, she said, just go be successful, like prove them wrong. And that's like the best version of quote unquote revenge because it's not hurting anybody. You're just make them regret their decision. It was like I quit because of a toxic environment. I wasn't fired, but there was no way out. Sometimes you can see the writing on the wall. I knew that if I'd stayed, it would have been like contentious. So it was not great, but that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I found success, I found joy, and I also found solace in my decision to move on because I knew that there was no other path but forward. So that's part of endurance and part of survival. You have no choice but to survive. You have no choice but to succeed. So embrace it. And the next card is balance, Six of Pentacles. So you are going to achieve the equilibrium. It's just a little bit tentative. It's just a little bit, challenging at the very, very beginning, but it's going to be all right, okay? One thing before we move on, one more note on Tuesday. When it comes to negotiations, push for more. When it comes to your decision on what to put your time and energy into, don't overextend yourself. It's really important for you to advocate for more than enough and to know that you've got what it takes to make this happen, okay? So I quite like that. All right, the middle of the week, it looks like you're starting to find your power. And we have, for Wednesday, the King of Wands. But notice how this is like a snake pit. We have the adder here, and there's a lot of different snakes. I like to think that the King of Wands is that top one there. He's getting out of the thicket. And so it's not a matter of right versus wrong. It's a matter of what is like in the highest good. And if you can pull people out of this competitive energy that you would normally see, for instance, in like the Five of Wands, and show them common ground. It can be one or many people that you're talking to. Move past conflict, move to a point that is mutually beneficial, and try to help people see how this can work for everyone, or at least how you would benefit from this versus the present situation, problem solving. You may have to separate yourself from, I just talked about that, from a group that no longer resonates with you, friends, family, or coworkers, because it is restrictive and constrictive, as we can see here. You also may need to figuratively shed your skin and try something new, reinvent yourself. So this is a great day for leadership, but there is caution to not follow the group think, not follow just what's popular, especially if it's not for the common good, to lead by example. I talked a little bit in the daily for today about modeling behavior with communication. I think it was Page of Swords reversed. So modeling works with any of the court cards. Show them how it's done. Embody it. And this top snake is rising above, okay? Snakes are power, though. You have the ability to reconnect with that power, and that's going to be the third part of this reading today, so we will cover that. But we can see a day of the week where it's lighting up, and that's Wednesday. Okay, so we go from one king to another. As we look at Thursday, we had demonstrative energy the day before, and now it's action and more communication. So the hawk here is taking a moment to get the bird's eye perspective. I mentioned brevity and concise energy because of the katydid, or because of the cricket energy that came through in dreams and meditation. So less is more. A bold and relatable statement is going to be better than boring people with a lot. I remember, and this is one of myriad reasons that I'm no longer in corporate environments, but there were meetings that you would go to, and it's corporate speak. You can see this on LinkedIn if you don't know what I'm talking about, or do a TikTok search for corporate speak. It's talking in glittering generalities that mean nothing. Lots of buzzwords like symbiosis and synergy and leveraging and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to even go there because it makes my brain hurt. So be specific, be real, be relatable. That's going to win you over. Because I used to feel like my mind was going to sleep. I was going to say dying at those meetings because it was so boring and it was so clearly about nothing. But nobody called it. No one checked it. So just be a voice that's real. And this is a day where that realness is going to be relatable. And it's going to make you seem wiser, because when you have something to say, it's not about how much you say or how big your words are. But if you say it and it has an impact and it resonates, it's wise. And I talk about, I can't remember the English class that I took anymore, but it was just basically about improving your general writing, and it was in high school. He said, using a word that you don't understand is never better than using another word that's more clear. And he said, using a word that confuses your audience just shows that you don't know what you're doing as a speaker. I'm like, whoa. So know your vocabulary or don't use it, and know the vocabulary of the people that you're speaking to, because that will make you a better speaker. That will make the message go further. So there you go. Something to think about. Okay. And if there is somebody that's trying to use those confusing words, break through the nonsense and just say, what do you mean? Break it down into some facts, because that doesn't make sense to me. What do you mean symbiosis? What are we meshing together? How does that work exactly? Okay, because I bet you there's other people that are equally as confused. All right, so we have a really interesting Ten of Swords here. This is one of the only ones that shows it as an instructive thing in your life. So it's pain as a teacher. This is literally what that shows, pain as a teacher. By knowing what you don't want, you can aim your time, energy, and effort towards something that you do want. So this is the healed version of the Ten of Swords. We don't have someone on the ground in a pool of blood with swords in their back, which is graphic, but gets the point across. In this one, we have a person armed with the experience that was painful, using their next step to target something that's better worth their time and energy. So you are not defeated. You may have gone through pain. You may have some bruises. It may have been difficult, but it was highly instructive. It was highly contextual. And once you allow yourself to do some of the healing, which we saw starting to take place as early as Tuesday, by the time Friday comes around, it's like, I've got this. I've been through this. I'm not going to go down that path again. I'm going here instead. And that's the wisdom that comes through. And we can see it at any age, whether it's the older person or the younger person. It's just knowing that you don't need to take the bait. So, to summarize, don't get in unnecessary arguments or disputes. Take care of your health. Don't work yourself to the point of exhaustion. Say no to someone that's trying to push you for an unreasonable request. They can want it done by the end of day, but it may not get done if it's a work thing. Or if somebody is constantly doing something that hurts you, you can just walk away. There is a choice in all of the difficult swords cards. You see it actually in the 5 and the 7 of swords. Sometimes people are just walking away. So you don't have to go down the path. In the Lightseer's deck, she actually does that in this particular card. So use the pain in your life as an instructive and sort of wisdom building experience, and then it isn't a waste. Then you've graduated. Then you can release pain as a teacher. It's a great teacher, but it's not the most fun. It's not necessarily the most effective. So you get to avoid something painful on Friday. Don't take the bait. Don't push yourself too much, and be logical. That's a very elevated version of the Ten of Swords. What you want to be mindful of is if there is something going on in your mind or your emotional self, take care of it. Don't ignore the body, okay? There's a lot going on next weekend. There were 2 cards that were already stuck together as I was looking at Saturday, so we're going to read them together. One of them is reversed, one of them is upright. We'll start with the presenting card here. Another king. This is an interesting week because we actually got a bunch of king cards. So King of, what are we now? King of Cups in reverse. So many of you are at a point where you're trying to release some emotions. Speaking of which, Apollo's chewing on that rug again. It's okay, buddy. We're just going to take this away for a second. Yes. All right. He gets excited when we talk about stuff, and he can hear the change in my voice when I do a reading. So sometimes I have to just redirect his energy. All right. So what I was just talking about is something good that we can, as adults, do in our own life. So if something is contributing to stress, why sit with it? Why let yourself kind of gnaw on it like he was doing with my little rug there that I don't mind him chewing on? But so remove yourself from the situation. Remove yourself from the source so that you can find a place to get back into a sort of level energy. And also, if you're taking on too much, sometimes people have a tendency to want to dump their garbage on you. This is a day to just let it go, or say, I don't have time for that today. You can say no, right? Okay, right beneath that card, we have a much more beneficial one, the 6 of Cups. This is connection to people that are in a similar resonance, love and light, and it can be sort of like friends, family, or love interests. This is also a moment for you to be noticed, to be seen. A modern read it's like you're kind of getting your flowers. So for some of you, there could just be overwhelming emotions because you accomplished something. So this can be weepy tears of joy because of what came beneath it. But know this, if you are getting your moment in the sun, drink it in, literally, because we have cups here. You're entitled to joy, happiness, and success. Don't let anybody take that away from you, okay? So if there's something that's stressing you out, redirect your energy like I just did with my puppy. If there's someone in your life that is too sort of demanding or is insensitive, then this is a moment to also give yourself some space. And in doing so, and I'm going to show Apollo, he's fine now. Sometimes you just need something to recalibrate, right? All right. Thanks for the teaching, buddy. One thing that is kind of interesting is this could also be a moment where you're head over heels. So you could find someone who you're really drawn to, because when I see a love card or a tower card and it's connected with another love card, one of them's reversed, it's showing me that you lose your cool. So don't. Remember this, like energy attracts like energy. So if someone is attracted to you, you've done the work in order for all of that to happen. Drink it in, enjoy, celebrate. Okay, by the way, Saturday is, assuming you're with people that you enjoyed, it could just be a very nice day. The energy of reunion does bring both joy and tears, okay? They aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Okay, on Sunday, we have, did we get all the kings? We got 3, yeah, we got all the kings. That never happens. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles here coming through a week from today. The wolf, the lone wolf, trying to find his pack. So King of Pentacles, this is a day where you have a green thumb. Anything that you want to put your energy into, you should see progress. This is absolutely connected to business and wealth. So you have a whole week to kind of bring things into fruition, but by the time Sunday comes around, something's finally where you want it to be. It is a nesting card. So when you're looking at the places that you spend the most time, it can be your house, it can be your car, it can be your office. This is a time to kind of like create some, just a sense of like hominess to it, even if it's not your home or it's your home away from home, a nesting energy. And then this one is seeking company. Definitely that howl is a call for something, call and answer energy kind of happening with this. You never know until you ask. That is something I will say here a lot, whether it's an Ace of Pentacles reversed or the wolf howling at the moon here. You have a chance to create what you want, but it requires communication and an expression of the desire or the dream or the vision for that to happen. But this is the beginning of that movement, and that's pretty exciting. Okay, let's look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll move on to the elements. So the highlights this week. You've got a lot. You have, all of these are good. You have all the kings, but this king was reversed. So this is still another one. So you got like 5 kings this week. This is a powerful week. No wonder you wanted me to do like 5 different topics. So I think, or 3 different topics rather. Monday's great, ostensibly the best because it's the top of all the kings. So if you really want to voice something, move something forward, remedy something, Monday's the best. But you have similar energy coming through on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Wednesday is a day to show it. Thursday's a day to say it. And Sunday's a day to kind of pull it all together. Hopefully just accomplish it. The challenge of the week is Friday. If you can take the day off, do it. If you can reduce how much you're focusing on, do that as well. Okay? We're going to move forward, and I'm going to give Apollo a little bit more to eat because I think that's what he wants. So while I'm doing that, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it. All right, buddy. Let's move on. We're going to now start the elemental portion of today's reading, and basically the elements, quick check to look at fire, earth, air, and water. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker in this checkpoint because we have so much to do. So know that we'll have plenty of time to get into everything else today, but I'm going to be mindful of pacing on this. Okay. Let's see which of the decks I want to use here. So if you hear crunching in the background, that's Apollo eating. All right, he's like a hobbit. He needed his second breakfast. Fire, earth, air, water. Okay, let's start off with fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Whoa, we like this. We got the world coming through. So this week is kind of special. I mean, we're getting through the retrograde. We're about the halfway point. It's, I think, the 11th or something this month when it's all done. Don't quote me, but almost. We're getting there. So we're starting to see things spin and move in the right direction. This is a week to be bold. The world is the most expansive card. And basically, it's the last in the major arcana. So that is going to entail this ability to go further, farther, faster. And one of the things that you want to do, lean into this week, is to lift the sort of like ceiling on how far you think you can go. One of the things that I use in manifestation is the idea, all of this or greater in my highest good. And it can be faster if necessary, whatever's best and beyond my expectations, like all of this and greater. That pretty much comprises all of that. It's a great week for travel. It's a good week to send something out, whether it's a text, an email, a traditional letter, because those still exist. Whatever it is that you need to put out into the universe, this is the week to get it spinning or send it. So you're either going to start it or complete it. And then if you need to kind of like expand your own experience and visit somewhere to do that, that's a great time for that as well. Broadcasting, dissemination, movement, growth, expansion, all a part of this. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, I think you have a great week ahead of you. The main thing is to keep it moving, because I'm looking at the globe on this one, and I like how this person is kind of, you always see it, even the traditional illustration, they're above this. So you try to look at it from the distance and see just how it's all connecting, and I think that's going to help you out. Fantastic week for fire signs. All right, let's move on to Earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Also a great week for you. The Queen of Wands, she's one of the best boss cards. Even if she isn't the sort of like ultimate one in that suit, she's still, I think, where the magic happens. I like that the cat is there representing instinct, magic, manifestation, representing also the ability to land on your feet, even in a tricky situation. What I like most about her is when others are stuck, she comes up with a new solution. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, your ability to kind of pick something unusual but highly instinctive or intuitive is going to help you stand out. Problem solving is what I'm looking for. Be inventive, be imaginative, believe that it can be done, and this is kind of connected with wish fulfillment too, okay? But it is boss energy. So you may have to speak up, you may have to stand up, you may have to demonstrate it. All of those are comprised within this. You've got it though, if you're willing to do that. Stay organized and don't limit your thoughts. Super important, okay? Good week overall for the earth signs. Let's move on to air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You're in an interesting place where there's an opportunity or a blessing, but you may not be prepared for it just yet. So we have the Four of Cups in reverse. You're starting to see it. It's right there in front of her, but she's caught up in her own emotions. And so what's necessary here is a release or a relief. I think that it can happen for sure on Friday. That's the day where it seems like it's bigger than it needs to be, but all the rest of the week seemed pretty good. So I'd like you to get outside of your own thoughts and experiences for a moment and try some different things. Something's closer than you think. There's a blessing in front of you, but your emotions are blocking it. That's the main takeaway. Some other things. Don't compare your success to others. You have no idea what comes next for them. You have no idea how hard they've worked to get this. And really just use it as inspiration. Rather than spending time and energy spinning and trying to figure out why them and not me, think instead, this is inspiring. Can I do something in my own life that also is inspiring? Doesn't have to be the same. Get inspired. Don't get jealous, get inspired. That's the best way to kind of transmute the energy of the Four of Cups. And then try new things. Think about like the first time you tried different flavors of something. You may think, ooh, I don't like that. And then you taste it and like, oh, it's not that bad. Maybe there's something to this. So give it a try. Don't focus on someone else. It's a waste of your life force. And then Also, like a manifestation is I'm ready for the blessing. Show me the blessing. Because we actually have that instructive energy here. Spirit's trying to guide you towards a better path. So allow yourself to be guided, okay? Water signs. Knight of Wands. Very similar to what I just talked about with the Queen. With the Knight, there's a slight differentiation here because Knights still have to move it forward. The Queen is owning it. She's feeling it. She's ready. So what a Knight might have to do is a little bit more selling. So you have the potential and the capacity to get what you want, but you're going to have to show how this can be done. A little bit more work there. You may have to rally up the forces, have 2 or 3 people get behind you, and then together you can communicate something. Also, this is just more hands-on. So it shows me where you're at in the process. So you're like 3/4 of the way done through something, but there's still work and movement to happen. So keep the momentum, just like we were talking about with fire, with the world spinning. You need to keep the fire burning here because we're looking at, the element of fire with wands. And as long as you do that, I feel like you'll progress pretty quickly. You may need to travel in order to get wherever you're trying to go. So this is a great week for traveling. And showing, not telling. So that's one nuance with the Knight. So much can be said in words and in actions, and also like in what you're embodying. So show it. There'll be plenty of time later to tell it or to put it all into writing. But right now it's about experiencing it and practicing it. Practicing, showing, and embodying energy. That's basically what I'm getting with this. And that will help make it real. That will help it get bigger. That's going to make that little spark into something really, really big, into the torch that we see on that card. Okay? A very good week overall for all the signs. Nothing here challenging. Air signs, it's just a little bit of a recalibration. There is a blessing. It's just not exactly what you were looking for or when you were looking for it, but it's still there. Okay. We have special topics, plural, today. And the first one was partnerships. We never look at it on the Weekly Collective, like 3 times a year, maybe, if I'm lucky. So I was happy to bring this into the fold for today. Like I said, I read all of your comments, and I know that there's frustration that we don't cover it more. I'm happy that my channel doesn't focus on it much, but to not focus on it at all, we need to look at it from time to time. So we're looking at it today. So what I want to do is look at you. When we're looking at partnerships, love, etc., it all begins with you. So the first thing that I want to look at, we're just going to do 3 cards on this, and then I'm going to look at different people and different things in your life. So where are you at? Are you conducive to existing future relationships, or is there something that we need to focus on? Okay, so we've got some good stuff already, highly instructive. So the good thing with this, the 2 of Wands shows in the past that it feels like you know what you want. But what I love about this is you're in a liminal space. It's beautifully illustrated. She sees what she wants here. She knows where she's at, but she's like, how am I supposed to bridge the gap? Why isn't it showing up? And that beautifully leads into the 4 of Cups. So knowing what you want, knowing it's not there, but notice how she's kind of embodying the magician. I see it. I know it's going to show up. As above, so below. So just keep going in that act of creation and envisioning, and know that this brings in High Priestess and magician energy. So you've got the right start. If you haven't done this, though, it's important to be specific, because if you are vague in your manifestation for any kind of partnership, whether it's business, personal, or just like friendship, it casts a wider net, which is less effective. So you'll end up getting everything in the kitchen sink, rather than just a few very good things. So this is a time to be pickier, clearer, and then also lean into the believing. I'm worth it and I'm ready for whatever kind of partnership you're trying to call in. Know that it may not show up in the form, the time, or the shape that you're imagining. The 4 of Cups in reverse, this is specifically coming through for a lot of the air signs. is saying it's there, you just don't see it. We have it's kind of interesting that these are all empty, but there's one cup that's full. He just needs to turn around and say, oh, wait, there's more to drink in. But like in a practical form, the Four of Cups would be, it's here, but you're just not watching it or you're not seeing it. I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking because I think it helps. Yeah, it does. Okay, here it is. It was very close. He's so focused on this that he misses the floating ace right by him. So open up your filters a little bit and say, did I miss something? Look here, look here. There may even be someone that's trying to get your attention, flirting, like obviously, but you're so focused on your phone, you're so in your head space that you're missing that cue. So there is a cue somewhere, and it's about getting beyond, why not me? Why isn't this happening in the universe? Like, there's something else here. So there may be something also that you need to focus on first. This may not even be love. It just be something else in your life where the universe is like, this is the focal point right now. That'll come when it comes, okay? So there you go. The final card here is rest and recalibration. So the Four of Swords is reminding you that if there's peace and quiet right now, maybe that's exactly what your soul called in and wants and needs in this moment in time. So literally it's saying, like, give it a rest, give yourself some rest. When you're not trying, that's when it happens. Also, just as a cue from someone that you might be working with or talking to or trying to get their attention, if they don't respond, a lack of communication is still communication. It's not exactly the best form of showing someone that you're not interested, but it's a form of like ghosting nowadays, ignoring, putting someone on unread or whatever. If someone isn't actively responding, move on. It's a hint. Take the hint. Don't take it personally. Say thanks. And if you need to, like, if you have a chance to find them in real life and, you know, run into them, just say, hey, is everything good? But ultimately, someone is just maybe dealing with their own stuff. One nice thing with the Four of Swords is it does represent putting something to rest or moving on. It's one of the cards associated with breaking up or death or release. And it is the most peaceful. It's every day things get a little bit better. Time heals just about everything. And it feels like you're just about ready to rebound or reset and move on. So know this, if someone continually ignores you, and there's just come a day where you don't care anymore. You're like, okay, I think I'm good with that. In fact, I think I'm great with that because it might have been a waste of your time. Okay? So that's that. So we see what you need to work on. We see where you're at. Now I think what I want to focus on is, for those of you that are presently in a partnership, what do you need to know about the partnership? What do you need to know about your present partnership? Let's take a look. So we have the Six of Pentacles, which is its give and take. And that is a lot of what I just said. I'm going to also find the traditional one because that one is not at all like what it normally is. So what I like about the Six of Pentacles is it's not necessarily 50-50. And anyone that's been in any sort of relationship knows that this is true. Sometimes it's this beautiful, wonderful, like, we've got each other's backs. But the fact that this is reversed is showing me that there may be, in an existing relationship, someone who needs a little bit more right now. If you're the one that's giving, then make sure that you know how much and how often you can give. If you're the one that's receiving, remember that the person that is supporting you can't be your end all and be all. There may need to be boundaries that are more firmly put into place. It could be helpful for the person that needs more to seek advice, whether it's emotional, financial, medical, whatever. You're not that sort of like the doctor and the Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It. You can only do so much. So know your limits and establish those limits and boundaries. Sooner rather than later, you'll be happy that you did that. And then just remember, it is give and take. And it's not about keeping track or score, but you know when it's been imbalanced for too long. So if you're always giving and never receiving, step back a little bit. See if the scales even out. And if not, have a conversation about what your needs, wants, and desires are as well. Okay? So that was fairly instructive for existing relationships. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a card for each of the different statuses right now. So That was helpful for those that are in a relationship. We talked about where you need to be if you're looking for one, but let's just see for those that are seeking a relationship. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, a couple of thoughts. Normally we would see like a tree or a bush that's growing, but it's not reached its capacity. And we see someone that's impatient. What we see here is kind of similar. She's reaching for something, but there's a little bit more internal growth to be done. So my just very real talk advice on this one is give yourself a couple of days towards the beginning of this week to focus on, especially until you get past the Five of Pentacles moment that we saw, to get to a point where you just feel like, I'm good. Take care of yourself first. Look at how you're spending your time, energy, and money, because that needs to really be in a good place so that when you meet somebody, and it's a when, not an if, when you meet somebody, you're not out of balance, which we just talked about with the Six of Pentacles. So interesting that we've got a bunch of pentacles coming through for this. So heal yourself first. Don't overextend yourself in time, energy, or money, and be patient. Because the thing that's missing most from the Seven of Pentacles is patience. When it happens, it'll happen fast. Is that like a cheetah kind of that she's embodying there? So I feel like something is en route, but it takes a minute for it to get to you, and you want to not rush it too much, okay? Because we are looking at incoming love, can we see potentially what kind of person might be coming in for those that are seeking love? Okay, so one or both of you may be on a rebound. The Three of Swords goes to what I just said. I really feel like this week, it doesn't mean you can't meet someone. Just take it slow. Take it as slowly as possible because there is still some healing. So we just got confirmation that you've got to just sort of pace yourselves, both of you. Also remember, a person doesn't solve your problems. A person doesn't make you complete or whole. Like that silly line, you complete me. No, you complete you, and the two of you complement. They were close. It was a C word, but it's you complement me. That would have been so much stronger. Because like attracts like, and then you also will find nuances where you can balance one another on some levels, but you're not completing each other. So complete yourself first, sort yourself, and then find a complement. Find someone that is in a similar resonance but not identical, and that will help you. So spirit spoken. I'm just the person here that's relaying it. It's really a week to sort yourself. You can still meet someone, but you need to take it super slow. That's all I have to say on that. Okay, if you're happily single, what else is coming through? And then I'm going to look at business because this is a sort of different category, the way that I'm approaching it. I'll look at family too. We're going beyond because we're going deeper into this, and I didn't have to pull a full Celtic cross and an expanded forecast. All right, so what did I say I was looking at? Single and happy. Good for you. So this is a great time to tune in. This is reading tea leaves. It's a different version of the Seven of Cups. So sometimes the Seven of Cups gets a bad rap because it can be overwhelming. All the different choices in front of us, it's sort of like, I don't know what I need to focus on, right? But the Seven of Cups can also be inspiration. And instead of that, it can feel more like this. I'm inspired. I want to do this. So it can be that moment of clarification. What you can do this week is tune in and see where are the like sort of the math me moments, and where is that sort of like, aha, this is what I want to do. Take out the stuff that you don't need. Focus on what you do. It's a great week for ideation. It's a great time for discovery, for getting inspired, and also just like sketching things out. So I feel like this is a super productive week. Allow the creative juices to flow and don't overthink. That's the only thing with the Seven of Cups, is that it can be daunting. The traditional version, which we don't need to pull because I want to kind of keep with the timing, but it's someone looking at all of these in the sky and it's like, I don't know what to do. You do know what to do. Don't overthink, okay? If you need to rely on something intuitive, whether it's reading a tarot card or two, or looking at tea leaves, or talking to someone else that has a good instinct, do that, okay? All right, so I'm keeping these here in case we need to see them. Let me zoom out a little bit. Put these up here. All right, so now I want to take a look at something that we never do, which is corporate sort of like relationships. How does the relationships go at work or in business? So partnerships. We're looking at partnerships, but from a sort of like, a productive or a business perspective. All right, we have the Knight of Pentacles coming through, which is pretty good. Okay, so Knights move it forward. I love that he's in this sort of like, are these sunflowers? This field of sunflowers. But he's alone. Where the heck's his horse? So there might be this need to kind of like move it beyond where it's at. There could be someone that can help you do that. So pentacles are going to represent resources, facts, figures, grounding it. So you may have your head in the clouds, because we had Seven of Cups for some of you. And this is someone who can bring it into the real. So whether that's like a project manager or someone that can just help you out with it. We're missing that. So this is a week where you can pull in that kind of energy. This is also a moment to share your thoughts and visions with others, and to get out there on that horse, which is absent from this as well. And we talked earlier about the importance of brevity also with this. Stick to the facts, stick to the figures, stick to the things that are going to make people feel like, yeah, I need to get this. This is going to help me. Okay? There could be, we have like a specific type of person here. This could be earth energy that's coming through for you. So be on the outlook for an earth sign. Knight of Pentacles is someone who is active, outspoken, etc. Okay, that was good. All right, let's look at familial relationships this week and see what's coming forth. Ooh. Very cool. What did I just say I was looking at? Familial. So with the star card, this is fantastic. This is a moment to really be yourself. And sometimes it's the hardest to be ourselves around our friends and family, particularly our family. So one of the sort of like tenets of maturation, of becoming an adult, is loving yourself enough to risk rejection with the people who love you the most. And if they love you the most, they're not going to reject you. And if they can't love you as who you are, give them a chance to get there. They can't always do it instantaneously, but you owe it to yourself to be your authentic self. And if somebody can't get there, then they're not ready and you deserve more. And that's even true of family members. In my experience, they come around. Not immediately. Could take a decade. It could take two. But typically they come around. If you lead with love, if you lead with light, but you also have firm boundaries. So whatever that might be, walking the path that is yours, whether it's loving who you want, living where you want, being who you need to be, being where you need to be. If somebody doesn't celebrate the success and the knowing that is that, then they don't know you. Then they're not ready to love you truly and clearly. But you should love yourself enough to create the necessary distance for them to grow and hold space. I'm here when you're ready to talk and treat me with kindness and respect, the same respect that I've always treated you with. If someone gets upset over that, I don't know what to say because you're leading with love. A tip with the star, if you need to talk to someone that you truly, truly care about and you're afraid, you start it, and I've talked about this before, but just in case someone's new or you forgot, lead with you're my best friend, or you're my mom, you're my dad, you're someone that I love in my life, and it's important for you to know this. I have some exciting news, and I wanted you to be the first, among the first, because I care about you, because your support is important. If they can't lend it, just say, well, I'm disappointed, and I'm here when you're ready to be the support that I need. But in the meantime, I'm not changing. This is who I am. So it's important to have a sort of solid feeling like I've thought this out, this next step. And I'm excited, and I think you will be too. Don't ask for permission to be happy. That's the key to success of like announcing something, whether it's a wedding invitation or literally coming out or deciding you're going to do something bold. Don't hesitate in the announcement. You can ask for support. Say, this is difficult and I could use your support, but I'm ready for this. Can I count on you? That's different. But if they say, no, you can't, say, thanks for letting me know. It's always good to embrace someone for who they truly are. And if someone is just hateful, vengeful, not ready, you don't need that. Because you're on the precipice of shining super bright. And I honestly believe with the star, this is one of the cards where I'm like, they'll come around. Give them time. Even if they're not there right now. So that's possibly the most powerful message for all of this. It could be applied to every piece of it as well. It's not super specific. It's just you should be at a point where you can be who you need to be. And especially with the people that you love the most. If you love them unconditionally, it's only fair that it cuts both ways. And this helps that inner child realize that there's love from the universe and from the divine. And that's what we see coming through in this beautiful illustration, okay? I love this deck. I had to go through with and edit about 15 of the cards with stickies because there's things that YouTube wouldn't like, but the illustrations on this are gorgeous. It's Tarot de St. Croix, so you can find it on my website. You can find it online as well. Okay, I think we covered everything in relationships, just about, because I feel like this can cover family and friends, all the sort of intimate relationships, which are often the most difficult ones, right? I'm going to pull all of these cards back, and just in case we missed anything, why don't I go to the runes and see if there's anything that needs to come through here. Someone said only dogs love unconditionally. That's not true. I think we need to hold space for, yes, animals can love unconditionally, but there are people that are capable of it. It just takes time. Let's not create a self-fulfilling prophecy there. I'm only kind of playfully saying it because we're really focusing on calling that in. So to that end, is there anything you need to work on before I move on to the next category? Okay, this is good. We have creation, wealth, but the cattle piece is very interesting. When I think of what do you call a bunch of cows? Is it a herd of cows? There's always all these weird names in English for different things, like a murder of crows. Anyway, a grouping of cows. I do get that sort of herd mentality here. So one thing to do is you're not one of those. You're like the shepherd, basically. So in this moment, the leadership energy very much comes through, and I think that's a part of the creation portion. Now, a lot of times you would see cow deities showing fertility, right? I know there's an Egyptian one too, but so in this moment, you are more, this would be like Queen of Pentacles if I had to connect it to tarot, because she is and the Empress. Those are the two fertility sort of deities within the major and minor arcana. So with the Empress energy, it's a time to be bold and to take care of yourself and not do so much for others. Because if I go into the fertility energy of a cow goddess, it's feeding and sustaining and supporting everyone, the herd, right? You have to also sustain yourself. And when you do that, when you stand up and see that you count as well, then the wealth and the abundance comes in because people value you. But you have to show that you value yourself as well. And then oddly enough, you can sometimes demand more, or that energy, that self-worth equals net worth as well. Thank you for the people that are telling me the different words, herds and other things. There are all these different things, but herd sounds easier to kind of wrap my head around. But there are some really cool things. I was trying to think, there's some other ones that are bizarre where, anyway, I'll think of them later, but we come up with all these unique words for animal groupings. It's kind of poetic, actually. All right, so we just talked about partnerships. Why don't we go into manifestation, something a little bit more practical, and then we'll travel into reclaiming power. Okay, so let's use a different deck for this. All right, so where are you at we just talked about the self-worth. That card nicely segued into this. Self-worth and just general money situations, resource situations. Tell it, be real, guys. Show me what I need to see here. Okay, I'm just going to pull these in the upright position. We had a lot of reversals here, but I'm just going to read it as the energy of resistance here and try to help you get into it. All right, so from the past, what I can see here is you've been working hard. The Seven of Wands, we can see that person hammering away at something. The traditional one, we see them almost pushing back on how much is expected of them. What I like about the Seven of Wands, and it's beautifully illustrated here, is you can handle everything that comes your way. Should you have to? I don't know. That's the discernment piece. But if you need to push through this week, you can do it. You can hammer on through the week. I think it's important to work smarter, not necessarily harder. I think it's very valuable to say no, because sometimes, we just talked about it with that cow goddess energy, everyone wants to come through and milk you for all you're worth energetically, intellectually, resource-wise, and sometimes you need to say no. Now, what do you want to invest? Think about this. This is how I view an Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It's like putting a coin in a slot. So you're taking, now that you don't have to give to everybody, you have a moment to reset and replenish, and now you get to do something with your resources. And so what I see is this, it's like, I'm going to put it in the bank, or I'm going to put it in this slot. I'm going to order this. It's a purchase, or it's an investment, or a divestment, which also goes with the Seven of Wands. I don't want this. Take this. So you can donate, you can divest, you can invest, you can move it around. You're the one that's moving the resources, though, not someone else. That's the piece. So realize that it's time to do one of those things. Invest, divest, say no, create a boundary, push back, and also like think about how many hours you're spending doing something. What always amazes me is I can toil over something for like, if I do a video here, like 4 hours, or I can do something in an hour, and that hour one will be more popular. But sometimes it's because you're not overthinking it and you're not stressed out. So there might be a way for you to just be a little bit more tactical and practical about your approach on something, and you're going to have a lot more time and energy and just happiness at the end of the day as a result of that. Present energy, getting organized or getting reorganized, because we did get this card in reverse initially. So structure is important, but what worked for everyone else in the past won't necessarily work the same way for you. So in this moment in time, there is a little bit of a push here to think of a new or different or better, dare I say, way to get this done, because indeed that might be possible, that might be necessary. You may also be seeking new advice in this moment in time, and that can help you level up or get what you're looking for. So we have the Tower in the future. Again, originally it was in reverse. So the Tower is about reorganizing. So like if I look at it from a business perspective, sometimes it's a merger. It's divesting, it's reorganization. So one of the things that you might need to do is to rethink completely. You don't have to throw everything out, but you might need to mix it around a little bit differently. If you ever notice, like some restaurants, it seems like it's the same 5 ingredients, just in different amounts. So it's kind of like that. You can make a lot of different things from the same pieces. So think about, how can I mix it up differently? And actually, I mean, if you think of the periodic table of the elements, different combinations of different elements make, but it's like the same core things that make everything up. So you're just going back and saying, do I have the right recipe? Because you might have the right pieces, but the wrong recipe or the wrong execution. So the cookies have been burnt, so you're going to go back and try to adjust the time, adjust what you're putting into it. That's kind of what I'm getting here, is it's not a complete lost cause, but something around the process and the amounts needs to be rethought. You're closer than you think. One failure does not equate like permanent failure. It's like, oh, what can I learn from that? How can I remix it? And that's what the Ten of Swords, the archer, was thinking. Okay? All right, so let's get more specific. We're looking at manifestation, so I'm not looking at different types of work. So I'm going to pull one of the oracle cards for this too. Let's bring the crows out for this one. What is blocking your manifestation, and what is blessing your manifestation? What's blocking? What's blessing? Okay, I mean, this is very specific and very clear. This is devil energy. Like literally, if something is bonding or binding or holding you down, that would be devil, that would be Seven of Swords, moon, etc. So if there's someone in your life that somehow has put conditions on what you can do, parents do this, like not always trying. Teachers do it, society does it. I'm not pointing the finger at any one place, but they'll say, oh, you don't want to do that, you won't make any money, or you don't want to do that, only boys do that, only girls do that, or whatever. There's so many judgments that are placed on us when we're like 6 or 7 and have no idea what people are talking about. So that is their judgment, that is their truth, that is their fear, that is not yours. And we still need to hear this even when we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s and above, because it still exists. People still have fears and they reinforce them. Rather than allowing you to prove what's possible, only you can prove that. So someone is clamping down on the heart space and binding, or kind of like keeping you in place. It may come out of a place of love, but it's not elevated. It's controlling. It's fearful. So let's release the fear. And your mantra is easy. I'm no longer afraid. You don't have to say I'm not afraid. You can say that, but I release the fear. It no longer serves me. I love myself enough to try this. And I'm not going to judge myself if it doesn't work. And even if I fail, that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. Like, I feel like all of that is important. The only true failure is not to try something that you've given thought and done research on. Like, obviously we don't want to just try everything, like within reason but when it comes to taking a calculated leap of faith for yourself, go for it. Like if you really want to try something, by all means, you owe it to yourself. And you are free to decide. You're free to do whatever the heck you want. And that's what this card is about. And this is judgment. So this would be the devil and this would be judgment. And judgment is so beyond it's beyond the physical. It's metaphysical. It's souls rising up. It's a phoenix rising. That's why I can easily connect this to judgment. Reinvention and liberation. Liberation from as much as we all love the human experience, it's rough, isn't it? We are sometimes beholden to other people. Our body doesn't always do what we want it to do. Resources aren't, it's a struggle sometimes. So when you go beyond it, you're free. But we always have within our human experience the realization that we won't always be in this body. And this situation on the other side is not going to seem as intense as it is right now. Pull a little bit of the divine within you right now as I hit my glasses off and say, I got to change my perspective and look at this from another angle. It's not as big. It's not as complicated as it seems right now. We got to pull in the divine right now and look at it with a different lens, right? A different point of view. All right, how can we do that? Now we know what's going on. Now we'll pull a tarot card for that. How can you do it? Four of Pentacles. Okay. You know me well enough to what I'm going to say next. It's going to be, this is something, you're clinging on to something that doesn't serve you. It's the devil you know. So we have a vulture in this particular illustration that is keeping this person, pretending to keep this person safe, but they're going to take more. Vultures, we love them. They're the sort of cleaner uppers in the bird kingdom, but they're also going to take whatever they can. They scavenge. So there may be someone that's willing to take as much as you're willing to give. That's how I can abstract this a little bit. It may seem like it's safe, but they're getting more out of the equation than you are. In love, in friendship, in work, in life. So that's one interpretation. So if there's someone that is getting more, back to the cow metaphor, it's time for you to save some of that milk for yourself, right? Or for your kid or whatever, keep it within. The other thing here is this is a tentative card and it's not opening the heart space. So typically that fourth pentacle, I'm going to pull it while we talk, is over the heart. And it is shyness because we're afraid of how we might be perceived. And it comes from all of the stuff that I talked about. I'm hoping it's different, but I don't think it is because I'm looking at the world right now and it seems like we're more judgmental now than even when I was a kid. But when I was a kid, I remember parents and teachers outwardly saying, you can't do that because sometimes for me, it was like, you're a guy, you can't do that. I was like, why? Well, only girls do that. Or I'm like, so that's why we have toxic masculinity, because boys aren't allowed to be sensitive or creative. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I rejected that. But it was also rejection and it hurt and it made me feel like I was wrong to want paths like teaching or something like that were predominantly female. So that's just one example. Nursing. This is so ridiculous that we're gendering paths. Don't gender a path. Don't be ageist. You're never too young. You're never too old. Don't be so worried about like how much knowledge. It's common sense. So we're putting too much weight on these things that don't matter. And it's still society reinforces it. Isn't it weird? Friends, family, teachers, sometimes even you. So it's a belief that it wasn't correct from the beginning and it's holding you back. So if you're holding on to the belief, it was hammered in there by a lot of different things. It was indoctrinated into our psyche, but you get to extract it. That isn't you and it isn't the truth. And it's super liberating to just say, you know what? Bless you. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And I elevated that there. But yeah, just say that. Bless you. This is my path. And I'm going to show you what's possible. Being a little bit more vulnerable, being a little bit more out there is important. I've been doing this 10 years. At some point, I'll go back and pull a couple of my first videos. But it was ASMR Nicholas. I was like, hi, everyone. I think we're going to look at this. And maybe this means, I'm like, oh my gosh. Use your voice. But I was younger. So when you start something new, you're quiet, you're reserved. Once you've been doing it for a while, you're like, okay, this is how it is. Find your confidence. You have it within. You'll look back and laugh like I did in a playful way at younger versions of yourself. It's interesting that like I've been doing this like 10 and a half years, but wouldn't it be interesting if we had that videotape for all of our life? We do that in the review after we die. So once we transition into spirit, there's a soul review, and it's kind of like that. Imagine you could download the entirety of your life and feel it and see it and judge it from every different angle, and then like it's there. And then you spend some time with your guides to digest what just happened and talk about it. And but you find power in that. You're like, oh my gosh, look at how much I went through. We don't do that very often in our own lives. So maybe this week, sit with yourself for a second and do a mini life review in the body, in the present, and see if you can't find the freedom and the power, right? That's happening right now. So that instead of talking like this, you talk like this. You have your voice. You're able to look someone straight in the eye and not worry about it. You know, that version of me was probably afraid of, like, well, what if a coworker sees what I'm doing? Who cares? Who cares? They don't even keep in touch with me. Who cares? Why do we worry about what an old neighbor or a classmate thinks about what our current path is? They're probably going to champion you on and think, well, they did it. Maybe I should be doing this too. Think of it from that perspective. That's eventually where I got. I don't care anymore. Not in a way that is dismissive, but like literally it means it isn't. It's not me. I've gone beyond that. That was an old version of myself that I don't recognize. And I think this happens in life as we go through different pivotal things. After losing both parents, after quitting a corporate job, after moving a lot, after dealing with a bunch of things, it's like, I can handle more than I thought. We can all handle more than we thought. And you just keep finding more and more strength when you allow yourself to. So you're holding on to something because it feels familiar, but it is an old archetype. It's an old program. You've been upgraded. It's time to upgrade the operating system as well. I feel like we got what we needed to out of that. But all right, let me see if there's anything else that you need to look at. Show me something about the incoming opportunities. Okay, we have the Impala, and it's interesting. So this card, so many reversals. I'm just reading them for what they are. It doesn't matter if they're reversed or upright here. But intensity, vigilance, and speed. So the intensity piece, because it was reversed, I feel like some of you had the volume down like I did, had the intensity down a little bit. Don't be afraid to dial up just a bit. It doesn't have to be bombastic and like, so the opposite of this, like the way you don't want to go is like a salesperson where it's like, and let me tell you why, and like an inauthentic tone, like you hear that on the radio. It needs to be authentic and it needs to not be so loud, like a commercial on TV where you have to turn it down. So I want you to just turn it up a little bit, the confidence knob a little bit, the volume a little bit, but don't rush towards it. Be vigilant, but don't rush. When I look at this animal, I get the feeling, it reminds me of a gazelle, but I don't know enough about this. I have a feeling it runs fast. So speed will find you. You don't want to rush. You want to make sure your feet are on solid ground and you have the confidence first. So the main thing here is confidence that I see. Show me when, because I'm sure many of you are like, Nicholas, when will this happen? Okay. Give me a number on this. I'm within the next, show me 7 days. Give me the number and we'll take what number's on the card. Okay, 3 or so, right? So at least Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Give it until about Wednesday of this week. So we have the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is saying in reverse, not so fast. Literally, that was Spirit saying, Nicholas, you're asking the wrong question. They're not supposed to focus on the speed. I asked for you because I try to kind of like intuit what you would say. But I did say, give me a number at least 3 days from today. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is looking better. By Wednesday, you should be able to start to foster something into manifestation. Let me ask who, how, or why. Like, show me the connection. How is this going to happen in your life? The when we're not worrying about, at least the middle of the week. Show me the connection. You. Back to the star. Back to the authenticity. You're your own best advocate. You could get attention by just being yourself. When you meet someone, though, and they're in the star resonance, you don't have to force it. There is a chemistry. So whether it's love, whether it's business, whether it's whatever you're trying to manifest, there is this star resonance that comes in and it's there. If you don't feel the star resonance, it's probably not the right connection. Hang out in the Hanged Man for a moment until you feel it. I love that when we look at it in the upright or the reverse position rather, she's making that sort of like sign of the heart. And that was all about what this Four of Pentacles is about, is opening up the heart space. So just keep opening your heart and saying, I'm ready, I'm worthy, there's nothing to worry about, I'm going to do this. You'll start to resonate with the star, and then people will come to you rather than you chasing after something. So I really feel like the opportunity needs to find its way to you. And that's the takeaway here. Hopefully I answered everything we need to look at on that. I think I did. So let's move on. Let's go now to reclaiming power. And I'll use a different deck for this as well. All right, where are you at right now with respect to your voice, your confidence, your power? I really feel like that's what each of these is. Let me write it down so I remember. So we're going to look at voice, confidence, and power. Okay, I just need that for myself so I know what I'm looking at. Okay, so we're going to start off with the voice because I got specific on it. So when we're looking at your voice, we have again, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So take a step back. One thing to talk about with Knights is they pause when reversed to ask themselves, do I still feel invested? Literally, do I still feel invested in what I'm doing? Because if I don't feel invested in it, I'm not going to be as powerful, impactful, or effective. And that could be hindering my success. It's going to help us with the manifestation one. These all blend together, which is good. That's why they kind of made sense as a trinity. So if you don't want to do it, don't. If you don't like doing it, stop. You may not be able to immediately pull the plug, but start then to explore. So a reverse knight is looking back. She's saying, did I do what I was supposed to do over there? Well, have I explored that path? What's going on with this? She's looking around to say, what else can I do? And I like that we have a female knight on this one. It's nice. So give yourself a chance to explore those different options, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Now make them the now, the next. So you can always take a regret and put it into a goal. And you can always take something that's not working and say, all right, I know what I don't want. Let's take the bow and arrow and go somewhere else like we talked about earlier. So something isn't enough. Something isn't satiating, satisfying, fulfilling your goal, your vision of you. Good. Now you know. I'm not going, like, isn't it liberating to say, good, okay, fine, no big deal. I don't like it. At least I know what I don't like. The knowing is half the battle, okay? Now the knight can take that pentacle, which represents their time, energy, and attention, and say, let's throw it over here instead, okay? And that, my friends, is the next, and I'm so glad I wrote it down. So I said voice and confidence. So the confidence is one step at a time. So we have this beautiful Fool card here. I like that in his parasol you can see the universe. Anyway, the sky is the limit when I'm thinking of that, the firmament. So, and kind of like Mary Poppins, this is a cool Fool. That rhymed. Because I feel like he can just gently land, even if he takes a leap that's a little bit too far. Give yourself, as you take this next step, this will be your confidence. Give yourself a security blanket. And also just trust that you're going to land on your feet. But do something, whether it's having someone that you can stay with or having someone that can mentor you or whatever, to help you through the transition, whatever this next step is. And then just imagine yourself like Mary Poppins using her parasol and just landing on the ground. It's a soft landing. There may be a leap and there may be something, you're either going up or down, and it's a little bit challenging to go from A to Z, but you're going to do it softly, swiftly, gently. Take with you only what you need. There's been multiple times where I've had to do this. Like I talked before when I went across and did an internship in the UK. Like when I did that, I couldn't take all my stuff. I had to figure out for 6 months what's going to work for me. This was before, I date myself a bit, we didn't have MP3 players. So I had to pick which CDs that I wanted to bring. And I think I only could bring like 5 or 6. So that was interesting. And then clothes, you can only bring a certain amount, and whatever your trappings of home are. And then last year I had a moment where I had to get rid of stuff. There was another time when I moved across country. When you make big movements in geography or sometimes out of necessity, you can't bring it all with you. And in those moments, you're also highly liberated because you realize, I didn't need it. I don't need all this stuff. What do you really need? This is going to help you feel powerful because when you know that you don't need this, this, and this, you can wait. Like if you're willing to walk away from it, that's power. And that also is part of the negotiation here. Find your next step, get it locked in. And then when you say you're ready to go, I wouldn't be surprised if someone wants you to stay, whether it's whatever it might be, whether it's professional, personal, etc. But if you're committed enough, you're on your way. If you really were trying to use it as a leveraging thing, then so be it. One thing that I like to remind everyone, though, when it comes to smart decisions, if it takes a threat to open someone's eyes, I don't know. I don't know about that. Because why should it take that much to wake them up to the potential? It'll take a long time to, like, if we look at it in a professional situation, if you had to find another job offer to get them to give you what you deserve, they don't trust you now because you looked elsewhere. And they'll always think that you're possibly one foot out the door. And you had to force them to respect you. Respect should not be forced. It's earned and it should be delivered once you've earned it. But if you have to force it, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I like the relationship. Sometimes, though, we don't have a choice. If you're fighting for equality, it's different. If it's like, and it's at risk right now. And I don't think that's even something that is, I can stand behind that. Like we're trying to take things away from people in this world right now, and we shouldn't. So if you have to fight for your equality, sometimes that's how it's done. And then you can land there and you're like, I did it, now other people can follow through. So there's times when you can use that and it makes sense. If it's like for social justice, okay. But if it's just a situation where it's like, you treat me like crap all the time, and I have to force this, and now I'm going to stay here and still wonder if I have to do this again in the future, no. Unless you're fighting for the betterment of a whole group of people, that's different. But if it's just you and it's a crappy company, it might be time to move on, okay? Pick and choose your battles. It depends what you're trying to initiate, what you're trying to do, okay? The other thing with this, it is like we're going back to the liberation. There's something freeing about doing something different. And even if it is a little risky or unknown, it can also be really liberating. And again, speaking from experience, when I walked away from the corporate path, even now, it would have been so much more lucrative to do the corporate path because I would have had additional retirement. I still have a little bit from when I was there, but I would have had better salary, better benefits, job security, but I would have been dead intellectually, mentally, and spiritually. So it wasn't worth it. There was a trade-off. I was willing to do the freedom and I was like, I don't need all of that. I need to be healthy and happy more than I need all of that. I'm willing to it's not subtle. I'm willing to take the trade-off, and I'm willing to seek out a different path to it, because that's how you manifest too. You're like, universe, show me a different way, bring in the abundance in a different way. So one last thing, there's a lot to talk about. Who thought the Fool could be so rich? But it is. And this came from what, at the time, Human Resources was asking me. They said, do you realize you're walking away from your career? I didn't have the wherewithal at the time to say this, but if this version of myself, 10 and a half years older, went back, I would have said, or am I walking towards my destiny and my true path? Because that's what I'm doing. So I'm not leaving you. I did say that to my boss at the time. I said, I'm chasing my dreams. I would have now said, I'm embracing my path. I'm not chasing it. I'm embodying the dream. So just realize you have to move. And sometimes you have to move away from one thing towards another, as long as you're moving towards a goal and you're not just running. Then that's an empowered fool. Okay? Find your path, one step at a time. Envision the soft landing. We're still doing some manifestation with this, but that's part of it. This is going to make you feel stronger and more prepared. Okay? And then I already saw this earlier, but this is an unusual Eight of Cups, because normally we would have a little gap in the cups. With the Eight of Cups, there's room to walk away and come back if you want to. So interestingly enough, I feel like a door is open for you because you have a lot to offer. People know that they don't see that every day, right? What you owe yourself right now is a chance to explore the opportunities. This will help give you confidence. This will help give you clarity. And maybe some of you have gone from one thing to another without that sense of recalibration, like from relationship to relationship, job to job, step to step in life without a moment of breathing, which is a common thread today. So here's your traditional one. It's a little bit better because it shows you that there's room to return. He has ostensibly the 9th cup, because there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8 here, but there's room for the 9th. So this is showing that there's room for a happy ending as well, something positive, and you could come back there, or you could decide to just keep going. There's a choice that's intrinsic to the 8 of Cups. So you have choices. You have options. That's a big takeaway here in the power. You are not as stuck, tethered, trapped, etc. as you think. There are choices. And one of them could involve a sabbatical or a soft exit where you can always come back. That's good. It's good to have options. It's good to keep the door open. Absolutely. So that can be part of this too. All right. That was super helpful. Now let's take a look at some oracle cards, and I'll clarify it with this. All right. So when it comes to reclaiming power, I kind of want to know, from whom do you need to focus on? Like, are you where's the power sink? Is it in a person or is it in a thing? I'll pull a tarot card as well for this. It's in a group, ostensibly here, because the fish would be people around you, like the Ten of Pentacles. But let's just see if I can get a clarifying card with this too. Yep, okay. So, the fish, a school of fish. Literally, it could be a school or a corporate environment or a grouping. People that act in unison. And there's pressure to conform. Society as well. So we talked about that earlier. It's coming through again. Also, what you learned when you were in school, there may be things now where it's like, it doesn't resonate. When I try to put it into practice, that was just theory. It's not, excuse me, it's not resonating as much. So for some of you, it is just this need to get away from the larger school or group. And I just see this as a group. It's group think. Limiting energy. Everyone else is doing it, so you need to as well. No, you don't. So the devil likes conformity. The devil likes control. The devil doesn't want you to be able to do what we saw with this, which is to walk your own path and be who you want to be. Okay? So separation from a group of people or an environment that limits your potential. How do you do this? Let's see where I go. It's over here. Okay. How do you do this? Let's take a look. We have the moon in the reverse state. Let's see what's coming through. I just saw someone say they work in high school. Well, I'm sorry. Yes, then you understand. High school is an experience. But we'll talk about that in a second. All right, the moon. We're looking at the how, right? So the moon is about facing your fears. So what's absent on this version of it, because this is an oracle deck, and we can kind of embrace that. What we don't have is the wolf and the dog. So it's not about what you're trained to do. It's not just about what you want to do. It's something in the middle. It's like, what's really calling me? Because I don't want to give too much energy to the fear. And guess what we have? I'm so tired of it, but it keeps coming through. Another Four of Pentacles. So I feel like you're holding, I'm asking the who, but I'm actually getting still what you need to let go of. It feels like we got the devil, and now we got the devil you know. So there's still a person in your life that's coming through and trying to present themselves as a solution, yet they have underlying motives that are self-serving. It was a lot to spit out, but that's what I'm getting. It could be anyone, but you should be able to see through it. The moon is the revelation of someone's true character. So I got a false hero or a false helper. All right, so how can you see the true person that you need to be focusing on? So many reversals. Okay, the stork. We have two. Okay. So the stork, for me, and this is also, now we're getting into the voice, and this is important because we needed to talk about this, so thank you. When I look at this and the symbol of like the beak on this, it is about, it could be like a king or a queen of swords in reverse, so an air sign. It would be someone who knows you and calls you on your baloney. They're like, so there is a tough love around you. So the devil, you know, may be someone who pretends to support you or is enabling you. And the actual advocate is the one that is outspoken, but in the best way. Like, what are you waiting for? Or, you know, that's like, they're gonna help you see it, and they're gonna hold you accountable, kind of like in a teacher way, but in a way that's, it's loving, but it's like, come on, you can't get away with that with me. So someone sees you for who you truly are, comes through as like, could be a Libra or an Aquarius, someone that's just really there and says it like it is. But they do love you. And that is one of the advocates. That is someone that can kind of help you out. But now I asked a question and got something completely different. So it's important for you to look beyond the obvious. I mean, it's you. The universe is really saying you're the one that you're looking for. And this is a common thread today. You have to, there's entrepreneurial energy that's come through the reading, maybe that I didn't articulate as that. This is saying it's not obvious, it's not expected. Let it go. it encourages us to go within. And the Ace of Swords is saying it's time to revise, review, or kind of like, this is Excalibur. So I never really look at it this way, but it's kind of like King Arthur going to the sword and saying, I'm the one. You're the one. You're the one. I mean, you know that, but it's helpful to hear it. Okay, let's focus on voice, communication, leadership energy, because I feel like there's a little of that wants to come through. And then I'll quickly look at chat. I think hopefully you're enjoying the reading. It's very different than usual. But. Okay, so what's going on with your voice? Okay, so what I like here is it does feel like some of you have been working on yourself. Page of Pentacles, literally about communication. Perfect. This could be training, learning, gathering, absorbing. So you've done the work. But there's a part of you that feels like I still need or want more. You could also be looking at wishing that you'd done more here or there. I understand. When we go through school, one of the problems is we don't understand how all of this is going to practically help us in the long run. So one of the good things of school is it does give us the foundational blocks, even if we as an adult, kind of like that Seven of Wands, have to build a little bit more on top of it. So one of the languages that I'm learning right now is Spanish, and I did take it in high school. So I speak some Spanish, some French, and some Swedish. But when it comes to Spanish, I was like, I wish I had taken even more of that. But it all came back. I have very good reading comprehension when it comes to Spanish. I'm working on the verbalization of it because it just takes practice. And you have to hammer it in also, because one of the things that's complicated with Spanish is there's like 15 different versions of verbs and things like that. So you just have fun with it and roll with the punches, and don't take yourself too seriously when you're learning something new and finding your voice. It isn't about perfection. It's about practice, and it's about continuing to move into the path. That also includes anything new. Let's say you're starting to read tarot cards. You'll start with the basics, and you'll just practice it every day. Pull a card every day. See how it aligns to your life. If you don't know what the card is about, read it. And like an alphabet, you start to build your vocabulary of cards. So whether it's cards or an alphabet in a new language, here's one of the cool things if you study multiple things, so like languages, there are more commonalities than differences. Because I do speak French in addition to Spanish, I'm like, oh, that's very similar. Even with Swedish and Spanish, there are things that are similar, and you start to see cognates, you start to see things that behave similarly. You start to get better at your own native language because you're learning different rules of grammar. So the more you learn, the better you'll be. Just keep learning. We're forever students. We never stop, right? So continue to learn and embrace it and have fun with it. I think the best thing, and it's especially true for any state of learning, is just to not be afraid to make a mistake. If somebody judges you for being imperfect, it says so much about them, right? It is a sense of entitlement and judgment that isn't going to serve them. Lots of words came to my head, and I'm not going to say any of them. It just shows that they are immature. That's the best word. We'll leave it at that. So you have enough to move forward. You have enough to speak up. You have enough. And you'll continue to work. This learning is exactly what you see here. It's cyclical. So basically, this would be learning. You're going to constantly move between gathering and then putting it into practice, okay? So see these less as fixed and more as moving. They're going to go gather some things, and then the page is going to bring it forward, okay? The important thing is, what are you trying to do with this? So we have a magician, and it's reversed. Faith, focus, and belief are lacking if a magician is reversed. In the upright position, she can do anything. She's got every tool at the altar there. So you have to believe in yourself. I hope I've given you sort of like the belief, the ability to believe in yourself today a little bit. This is one situation, the magician, where faking it till you make it works. Because sometimes we have to keep telling ourselves that it's possible. We talked about rebooting or upgrading the program, the operating system. So one thing that you can do to upgrade your operating system is those thoughts. I'm going to do it. I can do this. I'm doing this. It's happening. Like, however you need to conjugate that thought, conjugate it. Not in the coulda, shoulda, woulda, or never, but in the I am, I will, I am, I can, I will, I am. Those different forms of that verb. So that's kind of what you're doing, is conjugating it into existence to kind of get linguistic with it. Don't spread yourself too thin right now. And be honest. The other thing with the magician is it's a little tricky. So there's a manipulative or a persuasive energy. You don't need to you don't have to lay it on too thick. Just be who you are, say what you need to say, and that's enough. All right, what else? Okay, so for your voice, what's the one thing you can do over the next 7 days that will help you feel like you can be more outspoken? Okay. I also know we're almost done because we keep getting the same cards, and that's good. No regrets. Live life without regrets. Don't look back. And be very present and live in the now and the next, which is something new that came this year to me that I'm sharing with all of you. Be very much in the now, in the next. And by doing that, you'll continue to be relevant. You'll continue to make progress. Now, specifically, don't speak down to whoever it is that you're talking to. This can be condescension. I asked, how can you use your voice best? Imagine that everyone is as smart, if not smarter than you. It's good to surround yourself with smart people. Never underestimate the intelligence of your audience. Surefire way to experience failure and negativity. Assume that people are smart. It also is a very endearing and engaging and magnetic energy to assume intelligence of your audience. You can challenge them a little bit, but don't condescend. If there's a difficult conversation, except for Friday, because I remember that was 10 of Swords, don't walk away. You can reschedule. You can reset expectations. But when you walk away from an argument, it doesn't resolve it. Do your best to resolve it. Unless the other party is abusive, cruel, or lacks integrity. Yes, then you can walk away. But if it's just a person that wants to engage with you, then engage. And we don't have enough civil discourse. I talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I ran into someone at a coffee shop that had radically different beliefs and everything, and I was just waiting for my coffee. But I held some space, and I said, yeah, I'm on the other side of the fence, but you're entitled to your opinion, and okay. She said, thank you for not arguing with me. I'm like, I just want my coffee. But also, in order to help someone see the other side, you have to have a civil conversation. We don't have enough civility. So I actually did get a couple of points, and I said, well, she said, I'm curious why you believe that way. It actually opened up a conversation. I said, I'm not here to teach or to kind of go into all of this. I said, but Google this, look at this, and think about it. And she did one of them live. She said, oh my God, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, now you do. And we left on a positive note. It was not contentious. So you can have those interactions, but we have so many people nowadays that are, before you even start, it's like there's this defensive energy. So I really didn't want to talk anymore, though. That I was like, well, got to run, got my coffee, I got an appointment, you have a great day. You can diffuse it. You can still walk away, but you can do so from a place of, hey, I'm not the one you're looking for. I'm not the droid you're looking for. And that's kind of what I did, was that sort of energy. So use your inner Jedi on that. One step at a time. It takes time to get confident in your voice. So every day you practice. Practice makes not necessarily perfect, but it gives you the confidence that you need. So keep putting it to practice. Have fun with it. Don't take yourself too seriously. You can be serious without being so serious. And I think that's the big takeaway here. Hopefully this helped you for today. This is an unusual kind of free-flowing reading, but I had fun, and I hope you did too. By the way, like I said, I'm going to do more pick a cards. I waited a long time before ever doing one of those, but I'm like, there's no reason I couldn't. So I'm doing it from my own perspective and kind of, I'll try some different topics out. It looks like you guys really enjoyed that, so thank you for the feedback on that. For today, we still have one more card that we're going to pull. Before I do that, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I think I have one more set of 5 to give away. Let me double check, and if I do, I will gift some memberships as we speak. So, by the way, if you enjoy what you see here, a great way to give back is to become a member or to subscribe. Subscribing is free. Memberships, you decide to sort of give back in a let's see, a monthly sort of perspective here. Sorry, I'm distracted as I'm clicking all the buttons here. Membership gifting. Yes, I have 5 more. Okay, good. So congrats to the people that just got gifted 5. Okay. Let's take a moment now and meditate, and then I'll come back to all the ways to connect and all of that jazz. All right, so take a moment, please. Close your eyes, and you'll have one more card at the end that you can look at, but for now, just focus on yourself. Take a deep breath like I just did. Let it all go. Reconnect with that circle of light around your body. And there were I think there were 3 points that I want us to connect to: the throat, the third eye, and the heart. So 4, 5, and 6, those different chakra points. We'll start first by just feeling very connected to the planet, because we have to start with the root chakra. So whether you're sitting in your chair or in bed or on the ground, really firmly plant yourself in that position. Feel almost like you could place an anchor or roots into the planet. Roots are kind of nice because you could imagine that you're sending them deep within the mantle and receiving support, warmth, and energy from the planet itself. Pulling that sense of safety into the heart, where I saw a lot of blocks today, I want you to imagine that it's starting to warm up. Imagining almost like it's frozen over. It's warming up, it's thawing out, it's healing, and you see this beautiful pulse of green light, since that's the true color of the heart chakra. And this green energy of abundance and worth starts to pump through every vein in your body, and you're starting to see this beautiful green auric field right on top of that reddish field from the root. You can fill in the missing colors, but at least red and green. Now let's pull that energy up to the throat. Beautiful blue energy here, imagining that it's melting through any sense of, like, it's kind of like when you're unable to articulate, or you just can't get the words out. Imagine that spirit is pulling all of this vocabulary, all of this abundance, all of this power into your throat. So you have the right words at the right time. It's not how many words, the right words at the right time. And you have the ability to just spit them out of your mouth when you need to. It's no longer stuck. It's not how many, it's how well you articulate yourself. Okay, now imagining that this is connecting with your third eye. Closing your eyes, you feel this new sense of vision without glasses. It's like everything is clear. And there's this beautiful purple energy that's starting to spread through your brow and your visual cortex. And see all of these colors and energies entering into your auric field as well. Ultimately, you can just imagine the rainbow, but definitely the colors that we just talked about. Now imagine that you could take your hands and push outward in all directions, and it's almost like you're a superhero. This new auric field reaches as far as you need it to go, to whatever reaches of the planet that you need it to reach, so that you're able to manifest. You feel that you are strong enough and powerful enough to articulate yourself, and that the relationships and the opportunities that you're bringing in are of the highest frequency. Just sit with that for a second or two, and slowly, on the next natural exhale, come back into your mind and your body. Open your eye. Eyes plural. Your third eye is already open, but now open all 3 of your eyes. And I'd like you to get into your final question for today. So whatever question you have, send it out to the universe. And we have a great card coming through. So 8 of Wands, it's happening. It's one of the cards that shows like 3 of Wands, it's beginning. This is saying it's already happening. You're in the middle of it. The important thing here is to keep up the pace. So if you asked a yes or no, it's yes, but I'm giving you additional colors to this. So keep up the pace. Don't get lost in the shuffle. You know, we had that fish card, the school of fish. You might need to deviate onto your own path. And whatever you set into motion, you have the capacity to see it through. Look at how beautiful this is. This is nicely connected to what we were just doing. I said, take your hands, beam it out. She's literally doing that. And she's not letting other people get in the way. She's not getting lost. She's just keeping up with the flow. Sometimes you have to go a little bit counter to what's expected, and that's definitely part of this. But she has that rainbow power that we were working with, okay? Super powerful reading this week. Always fun to change it up. I get tired of always looking at all the subdivisions and health, wealth, love, and destiny and all that. That's one of the reasons I've enjoyed like trying different 2-month spreads, which are very good because now I don't have to rush. I can take my time on the monthlies and you're not like, where's Pisces? Where's Aries? I'm like, it's coming. Now you've got it. By the way, everything you need for August already on the main channel page. And I'm starting with September and October. So by the end of this week, you should have 3 months. So this is giving me great freedom to not be so stuck in the month. Hope you enjoyed as well. All right, let's wrap up for today. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Costs nothing. It's free. You can also control how many notifications you want to get by clicking the little bell icon and saying all or personalized or whatever. You can also give yourself a little bit of protection against no notifications coming through by following me on at least one other platform of your choice. I'm on practically every major platform, and on just about every platform, it's my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, as the username. So if you're ever in doubt, you can go to my website to get that address. By the way, that website address, interestingly enough, is also the Blue Sky address. So there you go. If you haven't already done so and you want to give back with super stickers, super chat, and memberships, thank you in advance. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that showed up today. I do this every Sunday. The format changes, the topic changes. You get to drive that. So if you haven't already, if you don't vote, you should, because interestingly enough, maybe only 1%, maybe it's a little bit more, but it's a very small percentage of the amount of people that are subscribed that vote. So a few thousand people make the decision for everybody that watches. So vote. One vote carries a lot of weight. Okay. Let's take a couple moments here to give back a little bit of extra love and support to those of you that showed up today. All right, so I'm going to start off first by celebrating any sort of anniversaries and then kind of calling out anybody that gave stickers and gifted memberships. Okay. Lady Intrigue, thank you for kicking things off with a sticker today. And then a bunch of people gifted some memberships here, including Believe in Magic. You gave 1. And Colette, thank you for 5. Welcome to all the people that just received from those folks. Deborah, you joined on your own. Thank you so much. You rejoined. I can see that you've been a longtime member. Heather, thank you for sending a membership to someone new. Let's see. And for being one yourself. It's so nice that many of the members gift memberships. I love that. Vanson, thank you for your contribution. Sammy B, okay, 35 months. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday to you, and I hope you enjoyed today. Colette, thank you for participating a lot. I can see that you talked a lot in chat. For your sticker as well, I see you and I appreciate you. And Heather, I'm sorry if it was hard to hear, but I'm glad it was helpful to hear. I don't know which part you were talking about, but thank you. I'm glad that it resonated with you. Deborah, also appreciation to you. And Pigeon, thank you too. Rafaela, right back at you. Believe in Magic, thank you so much. And was this your first super on a live stream? Thank you. That was really kind for you to do it here. Lisa, thank you for your $5. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jan celebrated an anniversary, 30 months. I'm glad that you thought it was fabulous. I enjoyed it today. It's always fun to do something different. I had a feeling that the Trinity would resonate with everybody because you all got what you wanted today in a smaller amount. Yolanda, thank you for your contribution. Same thing to Monica. And then welcome to everybody that got memberships from me. Anne, thank you for your sticker. Marjorie, 46 months. Look at that crown. You're amazing. I'm glad that it really resonated and happy to help. Thank you, Andy, for your sticker, and thank you, Ruby Red. I think I got most of the people. What I'm going to try to do here for just a moment is I will see if I can call out all of the members, including the ones that were gifted it. It just depends on how cooperative YouTube is, so let me see if I can do that. I always see it on the replay, so don't worry about it. That it's just sometimes difficult to do it in real time. So let's try and see if I can say welcome quickly to everybody that rejoined, gifted, etc. All right, Jamila, Marie, Isaac, Southern Girl, Deborah, David, Declan, Elaine, Gina, Bonnie, Melanie, Millie, Colleen, Anne. Let's see if I got everybody. Anne, Jenna, and Sheila. I'm having a hard time reading past that. I think I got them all. Perfect. Okay. It disappears as I'm reading it. It's a flaw in YouTube. Okay. And then I think I got all the supers, but I'm just going to double check and make sure I saw all the names. Let's see. Everybody's here. Lady, Vanson, Colette, Heather, Deborah, Pigeon, Rafaela, Believe in Magic, Lisa, Yolanda, Monica, Anne, Andy, and Ruby. We got them all. Okay. That is everything for today. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the next of the monthly videos. I'm going to do one more today, but by the end of this week, knock on wood, most of them should be done we're going all the way out into September and October. So you already have next month's. Check them out on the main channel page. I do daily readings as well. And then every Sunday, almost without fail. Sometimes if there's sickness, a holiday, or travel, I will adjust the time or the date, but mostly it's Sunday. And you'll always see it on my posts page or on social media. That's everything for today. Lots of love from me to you. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week ahead. And I'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.